Have you ever thought about what pilots can't do while flying? No, not playing hopscotch, but real everyday stuff. Imagine being in charge of a giant metal bird, soaring thousands of feet above the ground. It's a job that demands attention, precision, and a whole lot of coffee. But it's not just about the responsibility of keeping hundreds of passengers safe. There are some rather peculiar things that pilots are restricted from doing on board, things that we on the ground take for granted. Ever thought about a pilot's bathroom breaks? Or what they do during those long-haul flights? Well, it's not all autopilot and airplane food. They can't even indulge in a casual chit-chat or catch up on the latest movies. It's a world full of restrictions, some of which might just surprise you. So buckle up as we take off into the world of airborne restrictions. Welcome to Global Travel Venture. Imagine driving your car and suddenly taking a nap. Not the best idea, right? Same goes for pilots. Now, we've all had those moments where we'd kill for a quick power nap, but when you're cruising at 35,000 feet with a plane full of people, that's a big no-no. Pilots, just like the rest of us, can get tired. But unlike us, they can't just doze off when the going gets tough. There's a good reason for that, folks. It's all about safety. The moment a pilot's eyes close, the safety of everyone on board could be at risk. Sure, there are co-pilots and autopilot systems, but nothing beats a fully alert pilot at the helm. That's why rules against sleeping on duty are strict and non-negotiable. Pilots must rest before flights, not during them, so no counting sheep for our high-flying friends. Ever been told to turn off your phone on a plane? Well, pilots can't use theirs either. That's right, folks. While we're all grumbling about missing the latest social media updates or the next episode of our favorite podcast, our pilots are in the same boat. Or should I say plane. The cockpit is a strictly no-phone zone. Pilots are prohibited from using personal electronic devices while in flight. This rule isn't just about avoiding distracting text messages or emails. It also helps to reduce the potential for electronic interference with the plane's navigation and communication systems. Imagine the pilot taking a selfie at 35,000 feet, and suddenly the GPS starts rerouting to the North Pole. Not exactly ideal, right? And it's not just phones. This includes tablets, laptops, e-readers, and yes, even that snazzy smartwatch. So next time you're asked to put your phone on airplane mode, remember, our pilots are also giving up their devices for the safety of everyone on board. Sorry, Captain, no Candy Crush for you. Even nature's call follows protocol in the skies. That's right, folks. When you're a pilot, there's no such thing as a leisurely solo bathroom break. In the high-altitude world of aviation, safety is always paramount, and that extends to the mundane task of visiting the little pilot's room. You see, a rule exists that ensures that a pilot never leaves the cockpit alone. If one pilot needs to, empty the tanks, a cabin crew member must first enter the cockpit before the pilot can exit. This isn't about keeping the pilot company or ensuring they wash their hands properly, oh no. This rule exists to ensure there are always two crew members in the cockpit at all times. It's all about maintaining security and safety, even when nature calls. So pilots, remember, it's not just about flying the plane, you're also part of a well-oiled team. So it's always a team effort, even for a bathroom break. You know how it's rude to talk during a movie? It's the same in the cockpit during critical phases. You might be wondering, what's a critical phase? Well, those are the parts of the flight where the plane is either taking off, landing, or flying under 10,000 feet. During these times, pilots are strictly focused on their tasks. This rule, known as the sterile cockpit rule, prohibits non-essential conversations and activities. It's not just about being polite, it's about safety. Imagine trying to navigate through a storm while your co-pilot regales you with tales of their weekend escapades. Not ideal, right? So even though pilots may work closely together, there's no room for casual chit-chat when it matters most. This means no discussing the latest sports scores, no debating the merits of pineapple on pizza, and definitely no sharing funny cat videos. So save the gossip for the ground, pilots. Can you imagine a pilot snapping a selfie mid-flight? Not happening. That's right, folks. Forget about those Instagram-worthy clicks, because in the cockpit, it's a big no-no. You see, there's a strict rule against taking pictures while on duty. This isn't just about avoiding distractions, though certainly we don't want our pilots more focused on their selfie angles than on the flight path. But there's more to it. It's also about maintaining the professionalism and integrity of the role. After all, a cockpit is not a photo booth, it's a place of serious business. And let's not forget about security concerns. Pictures could inadvertently reveal sensitive information about the aircraft's controls. So, while we all love a good selfie, when it comes to our pilots, we'd rather they keep their hands on the controls and their eyes on the skies. No in-flight selfies for our pilots, folks. Think pilots can catch up on their favorite shows during a long flight? Think again. While you're settling into your seat, selecting the latest blockbuster on your personal screen, the pilots are in the cockpit, eyes on the sky and hands on the controls. There's a strict rule against in-flight entertainment in the cockpit. That's right, no binge-watching the latest season of their favorite show or getting lost in a juicy novel. It's all about focus and attention to detail up there. You see, the cockpit isn't just the flight control room, it's a fortress of concentration, a sanctuary of vigilance. Distractions, they're not on the guest list. So, while you're laughing at that slapstick comedy or gasping at the suspenseful thriller, spare a thought for the dedicated pilots who are missing out on all the fun. They're up there keeping us safe, missing out on the in-flight movie too. No surprise here, but pilots can't enjoy a cocktail at 30,000 feet. It's a golden rule of aviation that pilots are strictly prohibited from consuming alcohol before and during flights. This isn't just about avoiding a mid-air rendition of Sweet Caroline, but rather, it's all about safety. You see, alcohol can impair a pilot's ability to operate the aircraft and make crucial decisions. It's a little like trying to assemble a piece of flat-pack furniture after a couple of beers. You know, when you're left with 3 screws and a mysterious piece of wood. Except, of course, the stakes are much, much higher. In fact, many airlines require a bottle-to-throttle time of at least 8 hours, although the industry mantra is 8 hours from bottle to throttle, but 24 is even better. So, while passengers might be sipping on mini bottles of wine, our trusty pilots are sticking to coffee and water. No happy hour in the skies. Ever thought pilots might share a romantic dinner in the cockpit? Not quite. You see, there's a rule in the aviation world that pilots can't share meals. Now, this might seem a bit odd, but it's actually a safety precaution. Imagine if both pilots tucked into the same chicken curry and ended up with a case of food poisoning at 35,000 feet. It wouldn't be a pretty sight, and it certainly wouldn't make for a smooth landing. So, to prevent this potential disaster, pilots are served different meals. It's not just about the food, it's about ensuring the safety of everyone on board. It might not be as cozy as sharing a meal, but it's a small sacrifice to make for the sake of a safe journey. So the next time you're enjoying your in-flight meal, spare a thought for our pilots munching away in solitude. So it's separate dinners for our airborne duo. Ever wondered if pilots can do a little online shopping while cruising? Nope. Let's delve into this a bit. You might think that in this day and age of Wi-Fi-enabled flights, pilots might be tempted to sneak in a quick browse through the latest bestsellers, or perhaps even order a pizza for delivery upon landing. But alas, that's not the case. The Federal Aviation Administration has strict rules against using the internet for non-flight related activities during flight. So the answer is a resounding no. The reason behind this is pretty straightforward. Pilots are there to ensure the safety of all passengers on board. They're not there to score the latest deal on a pair of sneakers, or to watch the latest cat video that's gone viral. Their focus needs to be on navigating the plane, monitoring the systems, and responding promptly to any potential issues. So, no Amazon Prime delivery to the cockpit then? Think pilots can sign autographs while flying? Think again. Picture this. You're cruising at 35,000 feet when you suddenly spot your favorite celebrity pilot at the helm. You rush over, pen and paper in hand, ready for that coveted signature. But hold on, there's a catch. Pilots are strictly advised against engaging in any non-flight related paperwork while in the cockpit. That's right, no signing of autographs, no doodling, no Sudoku, not even a quick crossword puzzle to pass the time. It's all about focus and safety up there, folks. These rules ensure that pilots remain undistracted, keeping their eyes on the skies and their hands on the controls. So, if you were hoping for a sky-high signature from your favorite pilot, you might want to reconsider. Remember, the cockpit is a no autograph zone, and for good reason. No autographs in the sky, folks. Ever wondered if pilots can freshen up before landing? Not so much. Picture this. You've been at the helm of an aircraft for several hours. Maybe you're feeling a bit scruffy. Perhaps your hair isn't quite as sleek as it was at takeoff. You might think, why not spruce up a bit before disembarking? Well, think again. It turns out there's a strict rule against personal grooming in the cockpit. That's right, no quick shave, no hair combing, not even a little touch-up with lip balm, and definitely no cologne spritzing. It might seem like a minor thing, but imagine if a stray hair landed in an instrument panel or a dab of aftershave got into a pilot's eye. Distractions, no matter how small, can have serious repercussions when you're responsible for an aircraft. So next time you see a pilot stepping off a long-haul flight, Remember, they've been following the rules, putting safety first. No mile-high makeover for our pilots. What about changing into comfy clothes for a long flight? Not for pilots. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? I always wear my cozy sweatpants on long-haul flights. Well, that's a luxury our pilots don't share. The cockpit isn't precisely a changing room, you know. There are strict regulations that pilots must adhere to, one of which is maintaining their uniform throughout the flight. It's not just about looking professional, though that is a part of it, but also about safety and practicality. If an emergency were to occur and evacuation was necessary, the pilot's uniform makes them easily identifiable. After all, you'd want to know who's in charge when things go south, right? Moreover, the cockpit is a tight space filled with numerous controls and instruments. The last thing a pilot needs is to accidentally hit a button while trying to change into a pair of comfy slacks. So no pajamas for our high-flying friends. So, who knew being a pilot was like being at a really strict dinner party? Let's take a quick flight back through our airborne no-nos. First, we discovered that pilots can't snooze on the job. Then we found out they can't play with their personal electronics. Who would have thought that bathroom breaks were a team sport? And forget about idle chit-chat or selfie sessions in the cockpit. In-flight entertainment and a relaxing tipple? Not for the pilots. They also have to forego sharing meals, window shopping, signing autographs, and even personal grooming. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more restrictive, they can't even switch outfits mid-flight. It's a wonder they managed to keep their sanity. But hey, these rules are in place to keep us safe and sound in the sky. Thanks for flying with us through these unusual restrictions. Remember, it's all for our safety. Until next time, keep your seatbelts fastened and your trays in their upright position. Until next time, safe travels.